Gojo, Sukuna, and now Angel have shown keen interest in Megumi's potential and his ability to reach the pinnacle of the Jujutsu world. With his inherited technique of the 10 shadows, in tandem with his IQ and knowledge of Jujutsu, as well as his morally grey personality, he has all the tools to achieve his honoured one moment. But why do Gojo, Sukuna, and Angel rate Megumi so highly? First, Gojo said the previous 6 eyes and 10 shadows technique users were relative and had a fight to the death. Moreover, Gojo has big hopes for Megumi and his potential, indicating how strong he can become. Sukuna's interest from my estimation lies in his 10 shadows technique and him being a Shikigami user who isn't afraid to mix it up. Being versed in close quarter combat, in tandem with his ability, he showcases a huge difference compared to the standard Shikigami user. Moreover, his willingness to do anything to win, in Sukuna's case, a huge interest in him summoning Muhoraga, I believe Sukuna sees the potential in Megumi as a sorcerer and for whatever his plans he has for him. Moreover, Angel calling Megumi the Fated One further pushes how special he is, and having the 2 strongest sorcerers have interest and another incarnated sorcerer means Megumi is a special prodigy. The development we've got in Megumi and his POV in fights has changed dramatically in the series. We've seen him on multiple occasions trying to use his trump card in Muhoraga in fights such as against Sukuna for the first time, the fight against the Finger Bearer, and when he finally does use it against Horuta in Shibuya. Since the events of Shibuya, he has not done it once, and the fight against Reggie was key to show his development and him becoming more selfish. With him being currently the only person to actually catch a body in the Culling games, he ended up killing 2 other people in this colony, as well as eventually Reggie, which he didn't need to do. This indicated his selfish behavior, especially that with fights, and he showcases, like I said, with people such as Gojo in terms of a ruthlessness when it comes to conflict against other Jujutsu sorcerers. This is different in compared to people such as Yuta and Yuji, who are a little bit more timid when it comes to people in general, and is why I believe his personality is important to him eventually having his honoured one moment. But why do I think his honoured one moment is coming soon? First, the most important thing is Gojo's quote that the path of the sorcerer growth isn't linear, and with a strong foundation and the flip of a switch, you can become stronger in an instant. The first time we saw Megumi begin to break his limits is his first activation of the domain expansion against the Finger Bearer. He went from initially wanting to summon Muhoraga, and then dwells back on both Sukuna and Gojo's words of him being wasteful of his potential. So after he exercises the Finger Bearer, the reaction from Sukuna straight after highlights he's beginning to be put on the right path to fulfill his potential. The second moment is his fight against Reggie. Not once in the fight did he look to use Muhoraga, even after being tired from his previous fights. And even in moments when he was on the back foot, he found new ways to be creative with his domain to come with a victory against a person who hard counters his domain expansion. The growth we've seen from an individual back in season 1 who ran away from the first initial Finger Bearer to now in multiple fights putting himself in dangerous situations even when the odds are against him makes me think his new ascension is coming soon. But what will be the trigger? The first proper honoured one moment we saw was Gojo vs Toji. Gojo before the rematch had not been able to use reverse curse technique and could not use red. And after the death of Rico and Gojo finding the core of curse energy, we got to see his honoured one moment in which he awakened from a near-death experience. From the awakening, he learned reverse curse technique, found the core of curse energy which gave him an overall buff to his stats, while learning red and hollow purple. Furthermore, there are a lot of comparisons between Gojo and Megumi in terms of personality, and it makes it even more likely he will reach this level. But back to the first question, what is the trigger of this awakening? Either Megumi being pushed to the brink in a future fight, or the loss of either Sumiki or Yuji. With chapter 199, Megumi's highlighting how everything has gone too well, it makes me think huge consequences are about to come in the second stage of the Culling games. Moreover, death or failure are key catalysts to push a character and has shown many times in the series. Death of Rico leading to Gojo becoming stronger, as well as the death of Haibara and Rico made Geto become even stronger and become a dangerous curse user. We saw even Yuji show exponential growth in Shibuya after the death of Nanami and potentially Nobara, and it highlights to us how Jujutsu sorcerers can excel in times of crisis. Now, the two people Megumi deems as good people are Yuji and Sumiki, and especially with the ending quote from Reggie in the fight with "Let fate toy with you till you die like a fool," makes me think a lot of bad things are about to come to my boy Megumi. The change in mentality will be big for him, and obviously at the potential of a loss of one of his key friends or either sister, it would put him in a situation where he will kind of lose everything and begin to focus on burning everything around him. It could be in a similar situation with Gojo still having care for his students, but when it comes to fight, you see the switch that he has, being able to become a more selfish and even condescending to his opponents. In essence, we've seen periods of that with Megumi and his character, and I think he'll be taken to a whole new level and he will be far more dangerous and more cocky. At this moment of time, the people that we've seen being able to rise to the top have a strong sense of individuality, and I believe at this moment of time, current Megumi has a balance between the two, with have a strong sense of individuality but still downplays himself a lot. Good example is when Gojo was like, the 10 Shadows technique user rivaled me, he initially went with the fact that, oh, it's probably because he used something such as Muhuraga, which kind of showcases his current state with the fact that anytime he was in any sort of issue, he would go back to use his trump card. Compared to Gojo and etc. and these sorcerers always prioritize on trying to improve themselves and reach the top. And I think this could be something that Megumi eventually does and will be focused and will take him to a whole new level and will become the strongest out of the current group of Gojo students. This will potentially break his character and push him to further show that level of individuality that Sukuna has hinted to become the top. And one of these two characters close to Megumi, in my opinion, will be key to pushing him, and his eventual honored one moment will occur. But before, how strong is Megumi right now and how much stronger can he potentially be? At this moment of time, he's a grade 1 sorcerer and he has access to his 10 Shadows technique as well as his incomplete barrier domain in Chimera Shadow Garden. At this moment of time, the buffs we get from Chimera Shadow Garden is that he can create multiple clones as well as summon multiple Shikigamis in his domain, as well as he gets 120% buff to his overall stats. At this moment of time, we've seen that he requires an enclosed space to activate a barrier effect. However, a lot of theories that people have been talking about is the potential will he take something from Sukuna and potentially go with a barrierless domain, meaning he can extend his shadows in reality as well. With the uses of things such as binding vows, it wouldn't be something that is out of question, and out of the main three kind of trio, he has the highest knowledge of Jujutsu as well as a good set of foundation. Now, in terms of his hand-to-hand combat, he's pretty well versed, and like Sukuna said, he was surprised with a Shikigami user being able to mix it up with the way that he does. His biggest strength is obviously his IQ, in tandem with his usage of his abilities. I think when he does get to a situation when he begins to expand on these things, it will become to a situation where he becomes one of the most dangerous sorcerers. But how strong will Megumi be? With the 10 Shadows technique being one of the 3 clans technique, it showcased to us how broken it can be when Megumi can eventually tame Muhuraga. Furthermore, with him having an incomplete domain, and eventually him being able to complete his domain, it will showcase how broken his ability can be, especially if he can summon multiple Muhuragas in the domain. He could do a Madara where he summoned multiple Suzanos at once with Muhuraga and completely overpower people.
さて、一つ質問をする。そいつら分身がスサノオを使う、使わない。強すぎる。
In addition, there are still more 10 Shadow Shikigami we are yet to see, which could further bolster his arsenal and for him to fulfill Gojo's wishes of surpassing him or being on his level. Moreover, if he was to gain RCT and his level of Jujutsu is already very high, him eventually finding the core of Curse Energy doesn't seem too unlikely and will make him one of the most dangerous sorcerers ever. The ability to use his shadows in the light, as well as make him one of the most versatile and dangerous sorcerers alive, Megumi will eventually reach his honored one moment and become the potential strongest in the verse. But thank you for watching, and what did you think about potentially Megumi's honored one moment? If you want to see more JJK content like this, and you like this type of video, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, as well as check the affiliate links down below for different anime merchandise.